from LPI Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. It's R&R on Sports with Uncle Howard Robertson.
NFL grossed $13 billion in 2016. NBA, $6 billion.
Jennifer Conroy.
Last year, it was very distinctly and unanimously, I might add, Curry. To now, everybody stepped their game up.
And the magnificent Larry Robinson.
I think they're extremely hungry for the playoffs. I don't think these guys like going through the dog days of the season.
It's R&R on Sports.
Hello and welcome to R&R on Sports. I am Howard Robertson.
And I am Jennifer Conroy.
And I am fantastic, amazing, extraterrestrial, special. What's up, America? Larry Robinson in the house.
What's happening, y'all? How you doing?
Hey, man, it's been a fantastic week, man. I am the weekend's here, and
they come so quickly.
I'm telling you, man, I think people are taking time out the clock. I think people are taking time out the clock. The National Clock Service seem like we back here every week quickly.
You know, we're in Memphis, and last week was the first week of Memphis in May.
Yep.
Yeah.
Music Fest, and I got to go see Jilly from Philly.
Ooh.
You went to see Jilly from Philly?
She nice.
Yes.
Did you
Jilly.
get moist?
Nice.
Did you get moist?
Only girls do that.
Cool. She did.
Always.
But I love it because she talks about food. She sings about food all the time.
Yeah.
She's a big girl, and she loves to sing about food.
I made you some apple pie.
I love that. She's beautiful, but it was a great show.
Yep.
Great show. So much. Look, I'm going to give you your props, special one.
What's that?
Why?
Because you said that series doesn't start in terms of the playoffs until the home game. So everybody,
somebody loses at home.
So somebody
loses at home. And that is indeed what has happened.
With Boston and Washington?
Yes.
Yeah.
Washington
That's a great series. That's
Except
a great
last
series.
night, Washington looked terrible.
Yeah, I was kind of
Terrible.
surprised about the game the other day with Washington.
Shot
getting
selection was
beat
awful.
so bad in Boston.
Let's talk about outcome. Who comes out of that?
The Celtics.
Come out?
I think
or Wizards show
Washington. I think DC, man. I
you do?
think John Wall. I think
You
John
do?
Wall is emerging as, if not the best, in the top 2 to 3 point guards in the league, and it's because of his speed and size and strength.
He's having some control issues, though.
I just think John Wall is his coming out party.
I think that Isaiah Thomas has been playing balls to the wall, and I think it's going to be the Celtics. You see what I did there?
Yeah.
Did you like that? That was nice, huh? I think I'm moist.
Funny how you always manage to get into that part of the anatomy. But anyway.
She was talking about the Ball family. She was talking about the big baller brand.
I am.
Tell me, because, I know a past.
I got that.
He said past his prologue,
I know a
huh?
past.
Hate
Past
on
is
me,
prologue.
hater.
But
Now
let's
or
talk.
later.
Let's talk East a little bit. Any news to anybody that Cleveland's home chilling at this point?
They straight chilling. Although, it's been an interesting.
Did Raptors have a snowball's chance in Hades?
No.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
I mean, but if Drake shows up to your game, you're gonna lose. So it's a matter of where he goes next.
But think about this. They're gonna have to blow that thing up because Kyle Lowry is
does he
already.
stay?
Kyle Lowry.
I don't think he's staying.
Nope.
Okay. Number one, he's going to get a max deal. He's going to get a max deal from somebody. And I think he wants to win. He's getting to the end of his career. Most people.
He said he wants to go to Philly, though.
He might. That's a heck of a team coming up. You got Ben Simmons coming back.
You got the process.
You got Embiid in the middle, and you got Sarkit? Sarkit?
That dude.
One of them.
Yeah. Well, anyway, which is really talented guy, rookie. He got a phenomenal young team. He's at home. I think it would be a great look for Lowry, but I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up in San Antonio, considering I think Tony Parker's done.
I think that.
we're gonna talk.
I think Chris Paul might beat Lowry to San Antonio.
We're gonna talk some West Division when we come back. But in the meantime, we want you to get your laugh on. Check this out.
Hello, sports fans. I'm Betty Ball for Sports Radio 800 The Fan. Today, I'm pleased to interview Miss Maddie Mae King with the NBA. Welcome to the 800 The Fan, Miss King.
Well, thank you, and welcome back at you.
Now, Miss Maddie Mae, I understand you have some important information for our fans about the NBA playoffs.
Well, yes, ma'am. I do have some important information about the playoffs.
But you said playoffs. Don't you mean playoffs?
Now, I said exactly what I meant. The playoffs.
Playoffs are a part of the NBA, National Basketball Association?
No, girlie. Playoffs are part of the NBA, Notoriously Baptist Assembly.
But my producer told me you were with the National Basketball Association.
I don't know what your producer told you, but my producer, a.k.a. King Jesus, all glory, sent me here to talk about the playoffs, and that's what I tend to do.
All right, Miss Maddie Mae, what do you want to tell our listeners about the NBA playoffs?
Oh, just so much to say. First, we are in the semifinals. We got the Golden State Prayer Warriors praying for the St. Louis Solid Rocks. Then we got the Cleveland Cavaliers praying for the River City Jordanaires.
They sound a lot like teams in the NBA.
They are teams in the NBA, Missy. The
Notoriously Baptist Assembly. Who are some of your star players?
Well, I know you really mean star prayers. Now, we got Pearlie Bell Curry with the Golden State Prayer Warriors.
Is she related to Steph Curry?
Pearlie Bell was our MVP, don't you know?
Oh, most valuable prayer.
Most valuable prayer. Oh, child, Pearlie got a crossover that'll move you.
Now, how does a crossover work?
You don't know what a crossover is? Well, that's when Pearlie Bell be praying in English, and then she cross over and go to speaking in tongues. And then we got LeVon and James with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
No relation to LeBron James.
Who?
LeBron James.
Well, anyway, LeVon Ann has that step back move.
How does she step back?
Girl, you don't know nothing. That's when LeVon Ann be praying hard, and then she steps back into a holy dance. Woo!
Oh my, that must really be something to see.
Watch your mouth now. I know scarsasm when I hear it. Don't mess around and get slapped into the middle of next week.
How can our listeners see the playoffs?
We're in prime time on Extra Special Prayer Network.
And what is the Extra Special Prayer Network?
ESPN.
My name is Michael Eric Dyson, and you're listening to R&R on Sports.
See, I wouldn't change my life, just my.
And we're back. Hope you enjoyed that. We try to make a little funny. We try to make a little funny every now and again. Now, let's talk about the Western side of things in the NBA playoffs.
Okay.
So we know, unfortunately, Tony Parker's done.
Yep.
To rehab a torn tendon like that, that's going to be a lot of work for him. We might have seen our last game with Tony Parker.
He's absolutely retirement age.
Yeah, and you know, I can see them actually doing something where he comes on the court, plays a little bit, and then he sits back down and retires. Being that he ends it on his terms.
Give him a farewell tour.
Yeah, instead of that being
tour.
his last game, I think this is it for
Big
Tony.
question.
But look at Manu Ginobili balling.
Yeah, Manu's balling.
This is true. Big question, though.
What's up?
Is Kawhi done for the postseason?
No.
If he can play at all, I think he's going to play.
Yep.
But it wouldn't surprise me because the type of ankle injury he had was kind of interesting, and I wanted that's hard to rehab. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's done, but, the best days for Kawhi are ahead of him.
Yeah, it looked like he popped the calf, too.
Who comes out of the West?
Who comes out of the West?
Yeah, who comes out of the West?
Golden State.
Well,
who's going to be in the Western Conference Finals?
Who's going to be in the finals? That's
well, if Kawhi comes back, if Kawhi comes back, I would say that it's going to be the Spurs. But if he's not playing, I think it's Houston. Houston's in the finals with Golden State.
I disagree. I think the Spurs are going to come out of the Rocket series. Whether or not they're able to beat Golden State, I don't know. But if you look at their numbers without Tony Parker and without Kawhi Leonard, they are amazing. They still win.
So they okay.
They,
you
statistically,
say
without
Spurs,
Tony Parker and
you say
Kawhi Leonard,
Spurs
they still
Warriors
win.
regardless.
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
Oh.
I think
Ain't
Harden
that
is tired.
interesting? Does Boston do anything? Is Boston going to be able to do anything with the Cavs?
I don't think so. I don't think anybody's going to be able to do anything with the Cavs.
I think it'll be a tighter series than we've seen.
I think they may win one game. They
Just
may
one?
win one. They may win whoever, if Washington or
Washington.
Boston. It may win one game.
Don't mean to sound like there's a foregone conclusion.
Nah, man, I think LeBron is playing at a level, man, that I don't think we've ever seen anybody play at this level with this level of efficiency.
So you're picking you've early on picked them to be the
they're gonna be the champions. Yeah, I don't see Golden State touching.
You see that, Jen?
Why do you want to make me say that?
I'm not trying to.
Because he's scared. Don't be scared.
I ain't scared.
Don't be scared.
I ain't scared because I look better than both Steph Curry's beard and his shoes. I just don't want the words "the Warriors are going to win" to come out of my mouth.
So you actually believe
you don't like the Warriors?
No, I do not.
Oh,
I like Steve Kerr.
Oh, but
I ain't like the rest of them.
Don't let emotion overshadow.
Yeah. I do not want
judgment.
Kevin Durant to get a ring. There, I said it.
Wow.
There we are.
Yeah, I think still. I still think that was a punk move, man. I appreciate the business aspect of it, but Kevin Durant going to the Warriors, I still think was one of
That's the whole reason that the whole Celtics team is not talking to Ray Allen.
Mitch. Oh, now that's the thing that I wanted to really get into. What did you think about the Area 21 the other night with KG and all the guys from the Celtics? Paul Pierce, Rondo, Big Baby, and Kendrick Perkins. What was your take on that?
They mad. They still mad.
They still mad.
They ain't never going to play with him again.
I think what was really interesting is the fact that Rondo had nothing to say.
Nope.
He didn't comment at all. I think it's two things. Number one, I think Rondo is transitioning his career into coaching.
I agree.
I think he's starting to play that game and make that transition into coaching, number one. Number two, I think that because they mentioned that it's personal.
Yep.
It's not something that happened on the court. So whatever happened off the court.
What happened is he left and went to the Heat and didn't tell anybody. He didn't make any phone calls.
It's something else. When they went through the line, and they talked to Big Baby, everybody, and Kendrick Perkins was talking about all of them had an issue with how he left.
Yeah.
Except Rondo, he mentioned that it was a personal thing that they're going to have to work out outside of the others.
Interesting.
They had an issue with how he left or that he left?
No, they had an issue with how he left. It's not that he left. They said if he'd have come to talk to us, because everybody understood he had issues with Doc because Doc was starting to put Avery Bradley in the, give Avery Bradley much more time. Paul. But the thing was is that, man, Danny Ainge also offered you more money than Miami and a no cut contract, a no trade clause. So outside of that, why did you go to Miami? You went to Miami to chase a ring, and you went to our arch nemesis because they truly believed that they could have beat Miami.
I just want to know: is Tony Allen invited to the Celtics reunion party?
Absolutely, they talk very highly of Tony and how much he was a part of that team. I don't think they would have won the championship without Tony Allen.
I don't think so either. I just want to make sure he's getting his
Tony
props.
Allen, did you guys see the clip of Kobe on the Tonight Show?
Did.
And this kid asked him who was the most effective defender. Who did he not like to play against?
In 19 years.
And he said Tony Allen.
Wow,
that was the
what an
first
endorsement
thing out of his
What
mouth.
is it? What an endorsement.
Which means that the grindfather in free agency is still going to get paid.
He's going to get paid.
Whether
I
it's
just don't
here
think
or
he's going to
there,
get paid by Memphis.
I don't
I don't
either.
think he's back as a Grizzly.
I don't see it.
I see that the era of grit and grind is
rip
over.
The fabric of Memphis for a long time if that happens. Because imagine, people are still mad.
So.
People
I don't think so.
He's the grindfather. People are still mad at Rudy Gay.
Well, I still think
You know that's true.
It is.
Well,
true.
I know
it's
people
sad,
still hate,
but
It's
true.
sad, but
people
true.
still hate Pau Gasol. It's like- but this is an
We
era.
softened
This
on
is an
Pau
era.
a little
But I
bit.
think Fizdale is much more of a coaching prodigy, and I think that
I
the
love
grind. I think the
Fizdale.
grind father and the grit and grind aspects of the team is not conducive to the NBA of today. And I think, therefore, they're going to start to make this transition into a much more fluid game. Because, I mean, Zach is getting older. You see Marc Gasol starting to shoot more and more threes. You got Mike Conley with his penetration that is awesome and looking exceptionally well.
penetration
I mean, I
makes me
think he's
laugh.
come off the best season of his career.
Agreed.
And, it justified him being paid at such a high rate. So I think
I'm happy. You know what? You mentioning Fizdale. I am really happy to see the kind of deference and respect that he's getting on a national
Absolutely.
platform.
Yeah,
and
I
I
agree with that.
really think
Absolutely.
that.
Man, y'all sound like two homers. Whatever.
No.
Y'all sound
All I
like two
know
homers.
He
is that at some
He is.
point,
He's getting a lot of
He is,
respect,
he
and I
is.
think it's based on his
Take
little
that for
coming
data.
out. His
Take
coming
that
out
for
party.
data. Take that for
they
data.
ain't gonna rook
We
us.
ain't gonna be rude.
Which means at some point, Larry Robinson over there is going to say, JC, token white girl of my heart, you were right about Mike Conley.
No, because at the end of the
Aw.
day, he is not one of the top 4 point guards in the West. Now, if he was in the East, I think he'd have a chance to be an all-star. But he's not. He's in the West. And as long as you got Chris Paul out in L.A. or anywhere in the West, long as you got Damian Lillard,
I think he
long
passed
as you have
Dame.
Stephen Curry, long as you have, and I mean, we can even go further than that. You got now James Harden as a point guard.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the
Mike
point.
Conley
That's
will
the point.
not ever be a top 4 point guard in the Western Conference. Period. End of story.
I don't think you get Harden this point guard without D'Antoni, though. I
No,
really
you don't. You don't. He is a product of D'Antoni's offensive scheme,
Yep.
which has made every single point guard
Better.
that's played with D'Antoni better. Jeremy Lin owes 20% of his check, every check, to
Well, he's-
Mike
Yeah.
D'Antoni.
He
And
spent
with that.
he spent that on hair products.
And with
That's
that,
We
gonna
got
move
a
on.
great show. We got a great show.
Our conversation with who?
We got Omar Bailey, great shoe designer, world-renowned shoe designer. And then the second part of our conversation, we have Scoop Jackson talking about the LeVar Ball and the Ball family. And actually, one of them he thinks is a prodigy.
Stay with us. More R&R right after this.
Hey everyone, this is Mark Tatum, Deputy Commissioner of the NBA, and you're listening to R&R on Sports.
Lucky for you, that's what I like. That's what I like. Lucky for you, that's what I like. That's what I like. Search by the
And here we are with iConversation, and we love to introduce you to new stuff and new people. And today is no different. We are happy to have Brother Omar Bailey with us, world-renowned shoe designer. Welcome to R&R on Sports, Omar.
Hey guys, how's everybody doing?
We are awesome over here, and we are waiting for that shipment of shoes that you're going to send to Memphis so we can, be endorsed by the Omar Bailey line and all that kind of stuff. Ain't that right, y'all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the box is waiting for you.
Yeah.
Hold my breath. Is that what you're saying?
It's in New York.
I'm looking now at my age and stage of life, in my demographic, you need to have something designed for the brothers who go back to the black and white Converse, black and white All-Star, Chuck Taylor specifically. And
Well, first, man,
I think he said,
tell everybody who he is, man. Tell everybody who he is. Do your job, bro.
I want him to do that.
Okay.
I said he is world renowned, and he is in terms of shoe design. But how does a brother get into the shoe business?
Oh, that's a good question, and one that I get all the time. I guess just to kind of quickly give you my my background. I studied industrial design in college. Just before that, I grew up in actually, let me start over. I grew up in South Florida. I went to a design or more of like a fine arts type middle school, high school. in West Palm Beach called the Dreyfus School of the Arts, where that's kind of where I got my obsession with shoes and sneakers. And I tell people the story all the time that I think it had a lot to do with the whole, like, if you guys remember in the mid-'90s, like, cats was getting shot and killed over Jordans and robbed and jumped for sneakers. My parents were like, we ain't buying you them shoes. Like, we don't want nothing to happen.
You got Shaq shoes.
You didn't get.
They were like,
you didn't get no J's, bruh.
Nothing. They was like, that ain't happening. Said nope, and nope, not happening. So,
so you were fantasizing, so you just drew them.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way. Well said. So so that was kind of my way of being able to, I guess, in my mind or my imagination, being able to have the shoes was by creating my own. So I guess I would have to say that era in time in the 90s had a lot to do with me wanting to get into footwear. Mm-hmm. And I quickly became that weird kid in school who was just like chilling in the corner and not listening to what the teacher's saying.
That's my favorite
just drawing
kid.
Sneakers all the time. Like, why is this dude just drawing sneakers? That's all he does all day.
Focused.
That's all he does is draw sneakers. And then one day, my senior year in high school, I didn't even realize that I never realized that this could actually happen. It was just something that I did, and I did it for fun. Mm-hmm. And one day, a school from Detroit, Michigan came down and did a little presentation and, said, hey, this is what we do and everything, and I'm sitting in the back, not even paying attention, just like blah, 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 blah. Like no plans, no intention on going to school, not really knowing what I wanted to do. And then all of a sudden, a shoe popped up in the middle of the presentation, and it got my attention. And I was like, what's that? What's this mean? Like, you guys do shoes? He said, oh, no, we have this program called industrial design, and it's basically like the gateway into product design, which then can go into footwear and a lot of other disciplines within the design community. So I was like, well, tell me more. And, they told me exactly what they do and who's gone to school there and opportunities at Nike and Adidas.
Okay.
And I was like, sign me up.
So listen, hold on. This is R&R on Sports, and we're speaking with shoe designer extraordinaire Omar Bailey. Omar, who are some of the people that first of all, what's some of the companies that you've worked for over your career?
I worked for New Balance in Boston, Massachusetts. That was my first professional experience. Then I worked for K-Swiss, Adidas, Timberland, Rockaware, Supreme. Worked with a lot of different brands. Timberland also as well, to name a few. So those are some of the brands that I've either worked for or worked with.
Now, Jay-Z wears your design, right, for the Rockaware brand, right?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I spent 6 years working with Rockaware here in New York, up at the headquarters, which is now the Rock Nation headquarters in Midtown Manhattan, designing shoes for Rockaware and Jay-Z from when they were really like pushing the shoes hard and like Finish Line, and you also saw them in Dr. J's and a few other stores around New York, and obviously they're distributed all over the country, but New York was sort of like the main, the primary headquarters for a lot of the shoes.
You were talking about growing up in the era where athletic shoes were really becoming popular and kids were literally getting robbed and killed over them. I'd like to know how you feel about the statement commerce over conscience.
Commerce over conscience.
Yeah.
So you mean like thinking about what you're buying in that regards, or being a bit more conscious about what you're buying and where it's coming from?
Well, I think it actually was Kareem that was kind of taking a jab at Jordan over making shoes that were so expensive that kids were dying over them, and that he had the opportunity and ability to make affordable shoes and didn't. Yeah,
no, definitely. I mean, I think that gets a little complicated because once you get the corporate folks involved, there's a whole other side, to the shoe business that a lot of people don't really know about, and it could be something as simple as, everyone may think he had the power to make that kind of call, but he probably in actuality didn't have the power to make that call. But there's so many moving parts and variables that go into developing, shoes. I spend a lot of time overseas in China and India and a lot of different countries that produce and manufacture shoes. There's so many moving parts that, a lot of these costs are justified because of the new technology and the materials that goes into them. There's a reason why people are knocking off Nike all the time,
right.
Because they're the ones who are leading the way in innovation and materials and things like that.
Sure.
And lots of brands look up to them and copy them or try to imitate, what they do. So I think a lot of their costs, although may seem very high to some people, I think it's justified. And if it's too much for you, then just go buy something that's cheaper.
Right.
That's the only thing that I can really say.
Speaking of costs, what's the average amount that it takes to make a pair of these shoes? Popular shoes.
Like a pair of popular shoes?
Yeah.
Or,
popular tennis athletic shoes. Actual cost.
In athletic, it depends. If you're talking about like a brand, like Nike, you could be talking about anywhere from $40 to $60 a pair.
Actual cost.
The actual cost of the shoe. But then you also have to factor in like the mold cost. I mean, when you look at a lot of these shoes and you see these sole technologies, like Adidas has this boost technology, or Jordan has some sort, or like the LeBron James shoes with some of the technology in the soles. It's a lot of time, a lot of years and effort and energy that goes into developing that type of stuff. It's not easy. It takes a lot of time to do that and to test this stuff. So that also adds to those costs as well. But I would say like more for maybe like, startup brands that are kind of getting going or whatnot. You could say costs generally could be anywhere from, $10 a pair to like $30 a pair. It really all comes down to like the materials and the components, and if you're not making molds, or when I say molds, I mean the actual sole, the rubber sole that goes on the shoe. So it varies.
Okay.
This is R&R on Sports, and we're speaking with shoe designer Omar Bailey, based in New York City. Now listen, man, the elephant in the room and what's been all over media is these big baller brand shoes. $495. When you look at the shoes, I mean, they look pretty good. It looked like he did a lot of work. But what's your take on being a shoe designer? And then, if you don't mind, kind of dovetail into some of those shoes that you think are really exceptional that's out on the market.
Sure. Well, first off, the whole thing with the big baller brand, I love the spirit of the idea. Like, I love the concept. I love that this gentleman has a son who's a projected top 2 or 3 pick in this year's NBA draft, and wanting to build the brand, around him and around his other 2 sons that hopefully will, be able to play on the highest level someday as well. And so I love the spirit of the idea. My initial take on it, once I started reading up on it and hearing a little bit more about it, forget like all the talk and chatter and everything that he was saying, but I was really concerned with this November 24th like delivery date that he's like guaranteeing. And I've developed a lot of shoes. I worked with a lot of professional athletes, from Larry Allen Houston to Gary Sheffield, Jose Bautista, a lot of different ball players I've worked with. And I know for a fact when you're developing a performance shoe that there's a specific period of time that you need to test the product. And assuming that let's say that he just built the sample and he's getting the pre-orders, which I heard that, that's still actively going right now, it's just not enough time to test the shoe in the proper fashion, be able to build the production and deliver the shoes on time. And, I'm just curious to see how this is all going to play out, because, the minute that a couple kids come back and say they sprained their ankles or something went wrong in the shoes, how are they going to fix that problem? I don't know. Maybe he could have thought about all these things already, or he has the right people. I do agree with you, Larry. The shoe looks decent, even though it's a copy of the Kobe with Adidas Boost technology in it. But it does look like whoever did it clearly knows what they're doing.
Is there recourse for infringing on patents and stuff like that? Like knocking off technology?
Yeah, that's always been like a super gray area. There's a lot of like things in the footwear industry that aren't necessarily like clear cut like that. There's always been this rule where if the shoe is 3% different than another shoe that it looks similar to, then you're okay. But what exactly is 3%, and what exactly does that mean? So I guess it kind of comes upon the brand that's being infringed on if they decide to pursue it or not. So it's always been a little tricky with that sort of thing in the shoe business, and everyone just sort of does it, and then if something happens, then they figure out how to deal with it.
All right. Omar Bailey, we appreciate you being with us here on R&R.
Hold on, real quick. What's one shoe out there on the sports scene that you thought was just a masterful design? Don't tell me Steph Curry's.
No, hell no. Those shoes
if you say Steph, we're coming over.
What was that you said?
Those shoes are terrible.
Who did that? Who gets the blame for that, though? Is it an Under Armour issue or is it a Curry issue?
I think it's kind of both of them. But whoever's approving this stuff and letting it go through, man, like, I don't know exactly, what they're thinking, and and who's letting this stuff pass. I mean, I can understand and respect that they may be trying to establish like a different type of aesthetic than what Nike and Adidas are for, sort of like their signature and going forward. But those shoes just are not a good look right now.
Mm-hmm.
They got to listen to what the people are saying.
Well, that's it. That's the final word.
And with that, we're going to thank you again for being with us here on R&R, and we look forward to having you back again. And we're going to be back again on the other side of this. Y'all stay with us.
I'm gonna give it to you. Gold jewelry shining so bright. Strawberry champagne on us. Lucky for you, that's what I like. That's what I like. Lucky for you.
Hello, I'm Howard Robertson.
J to the C.
And I am the magnificent, the amazing, the phenomenal Larry Robinson.
All right here on R&R on Sports, on the Sports Byline Network, every Saturday morning. This is the best way to start your weekend.
Catch us, receive us, pass us on to your friends.
Wasn't that cute? Wasn't that cute?
We also got some of the best interviews during our Eye Conversation segment.
Every Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific.
R&R on Sports. Part of the Kazuki Network.
Hey, this is Dr. J.
Hi, this is Rika Ketchum.
This is John Hollinger, Vice President of Basketball Operations for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Tim Brown, NFL Hall of Fame inductee. You are listening to R&R on Sports.
And we are back with Eye Conversation on R&R on Sports. And I have said before that we are like a bad penny. We just keep nickel, I think I said. We keep showing up again and again, and we have shown up again in the life of Mr. Robert Scoop Jackson, ESPN's own. Welcome back to R&R, Scoop.
Yo, no problem. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Totally. Now, we understand, we saw that you went balling
without a blouse.
You were balling with Father of the Year, LeVar Ball. Tell us about that interview and your perspective on him and his family.
Yeah, well, the thing about it, man, is we had the luxury, and I use that word as exact as I can. We had the luxury of actually spending time with him as opposed to like trying to get him in 20 minutes and rush him in and deal with the sound bites and all this, that, and the other.
Uh-huh.
So, we spent 3 days.
Wow.
And the producer actually spent more days with him before we even did the shoot that we did. We'd done a couple of shoots with the family, but the last time we spent 3 days and 3 full days. And before we even shot him out at the house with the family and all this, that, and the other, I spent half the day with him and did an hour-long podcast with him.
Oh, wow.
And so, nobody's really done that with him. So to everybody else, he's a character. But to me, I tried to go out there and humanize him. And they get to know, like, all right, you spend some time with somebody, getting the soundbite of who they are is not an accurate depiction of who that person happens to be.
Right, exactly.
And because we tried to take the time and do something nobody else has decided to do, instead of plopping his head up on your show or having him call in and do this and the other, trying to get 10 minutes with him, we got some real time in.
Tell him what you said about him being a member of your family.
Look, he is a brother from South Central. He's a South Central LA dude. And if he didn't have these 3 kids, he'd be somewhere on Crenshaw talking the same amount of mess. Same dude.
I can beat
And
Michael
I told
Jordan.
him, I said, right. I said, dude, the only thing different between you and the members of my family is that you light skin. That's it. But keep this in mind. And this is what I'm talking about, spending time with somebody and trying to deal with getting to know a human being. LeVar Ball, I think, and don't quote me, but I'm trying to be as accurate as I possibly can. It's like 6'6", maybe 320, 330. That was his playing weight when he was in the NFL.
Man, that's a big boy.
Okay?
Oh, my
Right,
goodness.
listen to what I'm saying now, because I'm going to put this in perspective for you. Listen to what I'm saying. He is one of 7 children. He is the smallest.
What?
Whoa.
Okay, so, once again, brother from South Central, light skinned, younger, was the smallest of 7, and he's 6'6", 320, and he made the NFL. How do you think, like, not talking mess? That's been his whole. That's all he does.
Yeah.
How do you think he survived in his own
That's a
house?
survival skill.
South Central.
Yeah, his mouth has probably kept him out of a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? His mouth probably kept out a lot of stuff. But when you got 6 other brothers bigger than you, gonna run your mouth.
You're gonna talk all kind of mess.
Yeah.
You gonna look.
Yeah, because y'all can back it up.
I'm 5'6", 135. I know it. I'm 6'6", 320, and I'm the smallest in my family. Come on now.
I'm talking mad.
Absolutely.
Cash. I'm writing checks all day.
Right, thank you.
Wait till I tell my brother.
This is R&R on
Right.
Sports, and we're speaking with ESPN personality and now budding for videographer and the whole 9, Scoop Jackson from ESPN. So Scoop,
No, he's just a regular. Look, I just put it there. He's a regular brother.
Okay, so tell me
brother.
about the kids, man. I mean, what are they like at home? What Lonzo, Jello, and Mello? Man, they sound like a new form of some kind of new cereal or something. But anyway, how are they in the house with the mom and dad?
But they are kids, man. They are kids to the nth degree. Now, they are very polished and kind of reserved when the camera goes on them.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? But we were at the house filming for 6 hours on Sunday.
Okay.
And just, hey, y'all ready? Not ready here. We need you to come here for this shoot. We need you to come here and interview with us. They're very professional, very polite, very humble, kind of reserved. They don't speak a lot. But just when the cameras are off around themselves, especially the younger one, they're silly. They're
Really?
kids. They are really just straight up kids. We hung around the house all day, like, we don't mean to stop you off from doing what you regularly do on Sunday. No, we're good. We just, they do kid stuff. They play ball all the time. They got the music pumping. They're on Instagram trying to build up their following.
Uh-huh.
They talking girls, talking music, talking about, what Carl Lonzo gonna get him when he get his first, his paycheck. They trying to talk their dad into buying him a new MCM backpack. They are straight up, remind me of my kids. They just kids. They really are kids.
And I think Lonzo said, my dad's been talking about me like this, about all of us like this forever.
Exactly.
He's just on TV now.
That's it. That is exactly it, Jen. They're living nothing different outside of the fact that now the cameras are switched on to LeVar because now ESPN or Fox or whatever, or he's gotten some sound bites, USA Today. Matter of fact, when we were out there filming, USA Today was out there.
Do you
he's become the spotlight, but it's no different. And the thing that makes it unique is that coming up, everything he said about them and told them that's going to happen to them has come true.
So do you think that he's going to be a Laker?
Huh?
Or are we going to the Lakers?
Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you how that works with him, and I'm going to tell you why it's hard to get into an argument with LeVar Ball, is that even when he's wrong in his mind, he's right.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were talking to him, I said, look, man, I get what you want. You say your kid's going to be a Laker. You say your kid's going to be stupid for them not to be a Laker. He's going to be the first pick. I said, but LA's not going to get the first pick. Philadelphia is. I said, so let me tell you. So would you rather be cool at being wrong about him being the second pick and going to the Lakers to get the second pick? Or would you be cool with him going to Philly as the first pick just so you can be right and say he's going to be the first pick in the draft? His answer to me was, nah. As far as I'm concerned, whatever pick the Lakers got as the first pick.
Yep.
Oh.
Absolutely. That is most definitely South Central.
And you can't even argue with this dude.
Dynasty.
Charles Barkley.
Dynasty.
You arguing with this dude is like Eddie Murphy arguing with Charlie Murphy.
Oh.
God rest his soul.
Are they gonna?
Eddie, you the superstar, but on the low, we all know Charlie's funnier. You don't mess with Charlie. God rest his soul. But Charlie was that dude you don't want to mess with. He's your younger brother that we don't know about.
Do you think
that's what LeVar Ball is to Charles Barkley? Like, dude, don't get into it. You're not gonna win. Charles, you talk a lot of mess. LeVar Ball got it all day. He does this for a living. Don't go up against this dude.
Tell us about the guys. I mean, okay, now I don't hear much about the middle kid. It's Jello now, and it seems like Lonzo. He's playing his butt off in the college game and moving to the pros.
Yes.
But then the last kid has got the 96 points in the high school game. So what's up with the middle kid, Jello? I think his name is.
That can't. I mean, that's his
Angelo.
nickname.
It's basically
Angelo.
Okay,
they call him Jello.
He's going to UCLA.
Okay. I get it.
He's going to UCLA. He's
right.
a big. He's a big kid. He's probably like 6'7".
Really?
He's got that old LeBron body. He's probably.
Oh wow, is he? Man-child kind of body.
Right. He's a big one of the bunch. Right. He got a nice touch, but he likes to do all the dirty work. So he's going to be the rebounder, and he doesn't mind doing the dirty work. But here's the deal: he's going to UCLA next year. And UCLA has one of the best recruiting classes, in the country coming up next year.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Trust me, they're going to be playing for everybody else on this squad that coming in with a scoring mentality, and they're going to let dudes do all the dirty work. And I guarantee you, I don't know if he's going to be a lottery pick, but he probably is going to be after next season because LeVar said they're all going one and done. He'll be a first-round draft pick. Kid is cool.
Tell me about the kid, the younger one. How is he the real deal?
Prodigy.
Younger one to me is the prodigy of the family. And I'll tell you why I say this. Is that we were filming, all right? Now, think in mind, Lonzo Ball is going to be one of the top picks in the NBA draft. We're filming at their house, and they get into a video game competition. They're playing video, and the younger one beat Lonzo. They're arguing and screaming throughout the house. LeVar's like, I don't want to hear all this, NBA 2K argument. Take it out on the court. That don't mean take it out on the court. So ESPN's out there rolling cameras. They going one-on-one. Lonzo starts shutting young man down. Like, you can't go this way. It's too predictable. Calling his game out.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden, young boy started like, you know what? I'm tired of this. He started Steph Currying him.
Ooh.
And kept Steph Currying him. And Steph shook him. He fell once. Did a layup, ended the game, ran in the house. Like, I shook him. He fell.
Wow.
He came back out there. Now, keep in mind, this is what I'm telling you. Now, at some point, Lonzo Ball is 19 years old. 19-year-olds have, they don't have super egos. They got egos.
Right.
You're going to be the number one pick in the draft. You're the best player in college basketball.
And you got shook by your little brother.
Time are you going to let your 15-year-old brother, while the cameras are rolling,
in front of a reporter? Right.
Yep. ESPN.
Right. He couldn't stop this dude.
He couldn't stop him?
Whoa. Could not stop him. He got to the point where Lonzo was like, I don't believe it. Like, he was like, I don't, because he was just draining.
Right.
Step back, anything you wanted, killing him. I'm like, whoa.
Oh, wow.
And this is with the cameras rolling.
Oh, my goodness.
Right.
Oh,
I'm like,
goodness.
Now, here's the deal. Now, you all know as well as I do. Half of this game is skill. The other half is who has control of your career as far as your coaches is concerned.
Yeah.
Right.
Whose hands are you under?
Right.
Once again, we're going back to what we talked about the first segment, about the difference between Russell Westbrook and Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Back when Mike was early in his career. Trust me, Michael's the greatest player ever played. But Michael would have never become Michael Jordan had not Phil Jackson come in to be his career.
Mm-hmm.
If he had stuck with Stan Albright, and no disrespect to Doug Collins, but if those had, continued to be his coach, we never would have seen the Michael Jordan that we're seeing right now. I say the same thing. Like, you take Tim Duncan and don't give him Greg Popovich.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't give Phil Jackson to Kobe and Shaq. Don't give, Chuck Daly to Isaiah Thomas. The coaching, when he gets to that level, how we judge players, has a lot to do with what the player becomes. Now, LeBron James has been one of the few breakthroughs. He hasn't had that great coach. So that says something about him. But we don't know who this kid's going to get as a coach. We know he's going to go to UCLA. We don't know what Steve Alford is going to be able to do with this kid. But to pan out to see what this kid is going to be with the skill set he has right now, if he keeps that skill set, stays hungry and continues to get better, and he gets in the hands of a really decent coach, if he falls into the hands of like a Steve Kerr that really knows what to do with him, then he's going to be the best one, the youngest one.
What insight, what perspective. That is why we pay all of the money that we pay Scoop to stay with us here on R&R on Sports, and we're going to continue to pay him the big bucks. Scoop, thank you for being with us. Hey, man, as always, you light it up for us. You let us know what's happening on the inside, and we appreciate it.
No problem, man. I appreciate that that payment of that 30 nickel you sent me. It's working real well.
We're going to put it towards the Fizdale Fund.
It's literally the least we can do.
Right.
The least would have been a penny for your thoughts.
Back with more R&R on Sports after this.
Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way.
Rolling down the street with my radio on, listen to Funky Politics.
The mayor of the city of Memphis, Mayor Jim Strickland. How are you, sir?
Fantastic. We keep it real, we keep it right, and we keep it funky.
Funky Politics, part of the Katsukian Network.
I'll play the blues for you.
Blues in the Basement with Stephanie and T-Shaw.
Some great festivals going on around the tri-state area.
Got your dancing shoes?
Man, as long as I'm with you, baby, I'm always be on my toes.
Drop that zero.
Bring your blues, boo.
I got them.
We'll see you.
Thank you.
Blues in the Basement.
The thrill is gone.
Blues in the Basement, part of the Katsukian Network.
The thrill is gone away.
Get your phone, get your wallet, get your car keys. We got to go.
Peace.
Headed out of here.
See you later.
Time to say goodbye.
Arrivederci.
But
Adios.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Before
Shalom.
we split,
Audi 5.
we always say, no sense. We always say,
I holla.
goodbye in our own inimitable ways.
Bye, y'all.
And I'm going to take the liberty of starting today and shouting out the graduating class of Bethune-Cookman University.
Yes. Woo!
Who were not pleased with their graduation day speaker, who is a chick named Betsy DeVos.
They should.
Who happens to work for Donald Trump. And to show their extreme disrespect, she was booed, and the graduating class stood up and turned their backs to her. Now, was that disrespectful to the fact that it shouldn't have happened? What y'all think?
I think that anybody was disrespectful. It was the president for bringing someone who the students had said they didn't want. And it's their graduation. It was the students' graduation. It's not your graduation. You don't shove somebody down the throat. That speech is supposed to be inspiring and motivational to get out and make something happen in the world. And you're going to take that moment, that special moment for so many families, so many students and everything, and just turn that into your own personal sellout moment. I mean, literally. I mean, because it's like, you know, hey, Mr. Charlie, what you need me to do? Well, make sure and put Betsy on your graduation speech. Now, what my teachers don't like, my students don't want it. Oh, that's okay. I'm going to do it anyway.
And we're going to pay her.
That's a shame, man. It's really a shame. You ruined those kids' day, man. You ruined those kids. They will remember this moment the rest of their lives. Their parents and family will remember this.
Yeah, but you know what? What an amazing thing. I'm not disagreeing with you, but what an amazing thing 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, to watch that tape with their kids and be like, this was my moment.
I might drop the mic moment.
Yeah, like you don't usually get to see your parents through that lens of activism in that moment.
And we've come to our moment too, where we got to say goodbye. Y'all take care. Have a great week. Be back here, same place, same time. You know what the deal is.
Ciao.
R&R on Sports out.
R&R on Sports is recorded live at LPI Studios in the heart of Memphis, Tennessee. Web designer Daniel Coates, executive producer Larry Robinson, written by Howard Robertson, and produced by Reggie Fine. R&R on Sports, part of the Katsukian Network.